friends, and welcome back to another October daily process video. I am so sorry that it's been a couple of weeks since I have released my last process video. I will explain a little bit about what happened a little later in this process video. I don't want to skip over this beginning part. So let's talk about what I'm doing here, what the story is about, and then I'll explain why I have been missing for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So this layout here, the design prompt that I pulled that I'm working with is monochromatic. So to create a layout that is monochromatic, meaning that it's mostly the same color. So I chose to go with a black and white look to this particular story, mostly because I am pairing this with the prompt of if I were to live in a haunted house, how would I decorate my house? And I love the black and white color scheme when it comes to decorations. So I wanted the page here to reflect that. I pulled out from the digital kit that was included in my lesson of the Stories of This Season class. That was an Allie Edwards class. In the digital collection, there is a card. It is a 6x4 card that has 6 2x2 spots that look like this, these little window-ish looking cards. I printed out 8 of them and I resized them so I could fit all 8 of them onto my 5 1/4 by 8 inch canvas. And then I decided I wanted to actually turn them into a functional window little embellishment. So after printing those out on some matte white photo paper, I trimmed out the center portion using a craft knife for all of these straight edges, and then my precision scissors for the little tab at the top, just to make sure that everything cut and looked as smooth as possible. Once I had the inside portion cut, except for the bottom, I did not cut along the bottom because I wanted that to be a fold. I used my bone folder just in the crease between the white and the darker portion, and then folded it back. So now I can place my journaling behind that little 2x2, which it's not really a 2x2 in my layout. I think it's maybe 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, something along those lines. But now I can put my journaling on the back side of this, and then on the front I can add some pictures into the little flap that moves up and down. I'm going to skip over a lot of the building of these separate pieces just because it is the same. It's pretty monotonous and you know, not that fun to watch. So we're going to skip over a lot of that. I just wanted you to see a general idea of how these little pieces came together. I printed my journaling on some plain white cardstock. I did print that in an orange colored text because I wanted there to be a little pop of color when you pull down the tab with the photo and see the journaling behind it. I used the glue pen. I started with my Tombow Mono liquid adhesive, but it was coming out a little too thick. So I grabbed the glue pen instead and used that to adhere the frame or the window portion of that card to the journaling itself. So those are printed at exactly the same size, making them easy to back in such a way. For the photos that went on top, I actually pulled 8 different photos of inspiration from Pinterest. I have a Pinterest board that is totally dedicated to Halloween decorating, my dreams of what I want my house to be decorated like for Halloweens in the future. I am collecting pieces year by year. This year I really didn't purchase anything new decoration-wise just because we are trying to keep a pretty tight hold on our budget right now. So I did not go overboard in purchasing decor items. So the 8 little tiny squares are photos of inspiration, things I would like to have. The large photo on the right side of our fireplace is actually a picture in my living room of my fireplace with the mantle set up. This one was a pretty pivotal picture for me because we moved in our new house last September, so a year and a month-ish ago. And we were not able to decorate for Halloween, which was really sad. So this year is the first year I have totally done up my mantle with all of my Halloween decorations. I super love it. And so I took a large picture of that one, printed it at the full page size. And then I also printed the Welcome Foolish Mortals digital digital artwork that was also included in the Stories of this Season digital package for my lesson. Printed that on some printable acetate and cut that down so it's now this transparent piece, divider type of piece in between the squares on the left side and the full page photo on the right side. Now what I'm doing is going through all of my embellishments, my stamps, all of these different pieces that I've just had in my collection to pull out additional icons or sentiments or just little bits and bobs that match the scheme, the color scheme of this page. I wanted to fill in all of those blank spaces with just fun stuff, die cuts, use some things out of my stash. I do have a couple of items that have some orange in them. So you'll see there's a pumpkin that's orange, and I do have a picture that's got a little bit of orange in it as well. So even though this is monochromatic where it's black and white, so shades of black, I am okay putting in a little bit of color in there as well. So you'll see me go through all of my die cuts, all of my stamps. I'll pull out my inks and we'll put some different stamped inks in there. You can see right now, one of the things I love to do is pull my stamps off of the backing and just set them into the places where they're going to go or where I might end up putting them, just so I can make sure that the scale is okay before I stick them on a stamp block and actually ink them up and stamp them down. When I was going through all of my die cuts, I also found 2 of these corner spider webs that are something I die cut last year with my silhouette and never used, so they just went into my stash. I had 2 that looked the exact same, and so I decided to put those on the upper right hand corner and the lower right hand corner of the transparent divider piece there with the welcome foolish mortals on it. I think that added just a little bit of pizzazz to that and makes it almost a tiny bit more stable as you are turning that page as well. So super love that. In terms of the inks that I'm going to be using, I pulled out a black ink. This one is the Inky Black from Studio Calico. I've also got the Honeyman kind of mustardy yellow from Ali Edwards, and I've got the orange, which is eluding me the name of that one, but it's the orange ink also from Color Theory Studio Calico. So we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to stamp things in here. I'm going to glue down the die cuts that I've got in place. And while I do this, let me just explain a little bit of what happened in the last 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, my husband, Aaron, took a week off of work. He is forced, I'm saying that in quotation marks, forced to take a week off every year where he goes unplugged, meaning he's not able to log into email. He's not able to access any phone, anything for work. He's totally off grid from work, and that's something they do for compliance. He works for a credit union, so it's important to make sure that nothing suspicious is happening. So everybody in their company is required to take that week off. He chose to take the second week of October off because I said I would have a little bit more time. And we wanted to use that week to work on house projects. We got a ton accomplished. We cleaned out our garage. We cleaned out our basement. We hung up curtain rods. We hung up mirrors and pictures. We reorganized my husband's office and got it to where it looks much more professional. We really kicked our butts into gear and got a bunch of house stuff done, which also meant that I did not necessarily have time to work on any videos outside of simply putting together the layouts or designing the layouts and then putting them together over on Patreon, which I do want to mention that these videos are actually edited versions of live videos that I do over on my Patreon. I speed them up and voice them over because I want to share them here with you as well. But the Patreon group is where I am every day doing live videos where we're putting together these layouts Monday through Thursday. And throughout the course of the week, we do all 7 stories. So I am currently up to date on my October daily. I just haven't had a chance to sit down, edit video footage, do voiceovers, and all of that kind of stuff because we did that week of house projects. And then quite literally on Sunday night, after that week of doing all the house projects, my son came into our room violently sick. And we ended up taking him to the doctors a couple days later because he just wasn't getting better. High fevers, just kind of a little scary, really. So we took him to the doctors, found out he had an ear infection, a pretty bad ear infection. And so he was home for an entire week that I was not expecting, and not sleeping through the night. Just really, really, really rough week. So last week was filled with sick family. Eventually Erin caught it. Izzy survived. She did not get it. I did not get it. But the two boys, they were down and out. So we are finally back to normal. We are finally, like, kids are in school. Erin's back to work. Everything's normal. And so now I'm back to getting to these videos and trying to get things out for all of you. So that's just to say that I will be having more videos come out, and I apologize for the time it took for me to get to this one. Very excited to continue sharing these with you, though. I am really loving this year's album, and I hope that it is inspirational for you as well, especially as we move into the December daily season. And a lot of these stories, these layouts can be translated into those projects as well. All right, so we've got everything adhered down. I think all I have left to do is add a number 6, if I haven't already. I haven't really been paying attention to myself here. But adding a number 6 into the acetate, nope, that's what we're working on right now. I pulled out a couple different ones to test out in that area, and ultimately we'll decide to go with a white sticker, just a regular white sticker. I think it's from an older December daily collection, and I love the way that it still integrates with the whole black and white look of this whole thing. All right, let's stick this in the album so you can see how it looks, and then that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing how today's layout came together. If you did, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can catch all of my future October daily and eventually December daily videos as well. Until next time, friends, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you really soon with story number 7. Bye, friends.